horse is truly one of the most beautiful creatures in the animal kingdom. Its power and grace has impressed man for centuries. And when treated with skill and caution, the horse is a safe and enjoyable companion. Treated any other way, a horse can cause serious injury. Each year, we hear of people who are injured in horse-related accidents. The animal rarely intends to hurt us. Accidents happen because of mistakes in riding or handling. This film is to make you aware of some of the dangers inherent in working with horses and to provide some guidance in avoiding accidents. The horse is an animal that reacts by instinct. It will fight or run depending on how it perceives the danger. Not having the ability to reason, the horse reacts without consideration of how its actions may affect its own welfare or the welfare of people or objects near it. Someone handling a horse could be in danger if any of the actions we see here were to happen at the end of a lead line. These horses are fighting for dominance at feed time and are using the kick, strike, bite, and run instincts in these maneuvers. Kicking is a commonly displayed and dangerous horse instinct. Some situations where a handler is at risk are walking into a herd with feed and becoming surrounded by aggressive, hungry horses. Our instinct segment showed what happens. A kick intended for another horse could find you. And a horse attacked from behind will defend itself. If it can't run, it may feel forced to kick. Crowded stable hallways provide plenty of opportunity for a major wreck to develop. Horses are not tied safely if any part of their body can come in contact with another horse or stable equipment. Even high-spirited kicking can be dangerous if it happens at the wrong time. Always anticipate potentially dangerous situations. This person is obviously not aware of how easily she could be kicked. Don't take a horse for granted. It may become a painful experience. The other end of a horse presents some danger as well. Striking can be an unwelcome surprise that happens when working directly in front of the horse and it takes subjection to what is happening. Or by allowing horses to get nose to nose and they strike at each other and get you. Biting usually occurs with an undisciplined animal, and the handler can receive a bite when not facing the horse's head when saddling. Or over-tightening a cinch. This example would be almost self-defense. Stallions are prone to be biters unless corrected. Of course, a blow from the head is just as effective. Handlers must be very aware of the possibility of head blows. To be stepped on or trampled could be a minor nuisance or a major injury. This could happen when a handler allows herself to become trapped between a horse and a solid object, or goes under the neck of a tied horse. If the horse is a halter puller and is not accustomed to these actions, then his reaction would be to pull back.
When working around horses, it is important that we know and practice safe ground handling. If we can't control them on the ground, then it is unlikely that we're going to be able to handle them when we mount them. When we approach the horse, we always speak to them, and we approach at the shoulder so that the horse can see us and we can see what the reaction of the horse is going to be towards us. We put our hand on them, and as we work around them, we glance back to see that the horse is watching us, and we can see if he's going to be happy about what we're doing. When we go to the other side, we stay close to the horse, so if he should kick, it will be more of a push than a major blow. When we go around him, we push the horse away from us, so we will not allow ourselves to become entrapped between the horse and a solid object. Once we are on this side, we then watch his reaction out of his right eye.
Turning the horse into the body instead of away places one in a very vulnerable position, and this is not a recommended leading technique. Walk alongside a horse, not in front of it, where you can't see what the horse is doing, because if the horse is surprised, so could be the handler. Never lead a horse with a line wrapped around an arm or any other part of your body. This technique is definitely out.
When leading the horse, we want the horse to walk up beside us so that we can see the horse's reaction to all of its surroundings. And also, if something should scare the horse when we're leading it, if we're off to the side like this, then the horse is going to jump past us. When holding on to the shank, we never want to wrap any part of it around our body, and likewise, we never want to hurt our other hand by hanging onto a chain, if there is one, a snap, or any part of the halter, because then if the horse jerks, we obviously are going to get hurt. Sometime when we're handling the horse, we're going to have to turn him around. When we turn the horse around, we don't want the horse to step on us, so in most cases, we turn the horse to the right. When we turn them, we don't get ahead of them and walk around them. We stay to the side of them where we're less likely to get hurt, and we push our right hand under the horse's neck and push the horse around and away from us. However, once in a while, it is going to be unsafe for you to turn right because of a solid wall, or maybe the back end of other horses is on that side of the horse, so it might not be a real good idea to turn in that direction. If that is the case, then it is acceptable to turn the horse to the left. When you choose to do it that way, again, don't wrap any of the coils around your hand. Place them all in your left hand. Place your right hand on the horse's ribs, and rather than you walking around the horse, you push the horse and make the horse move around you. Notice how I'm standing. Anytime that you're standing still holding the horse, always stand perpendicular to the horse like this. In this position, you're not in front of the horse, so if something spooks her, she can't jump on you. Here, you can see her eye and ear reaction to her surroundings. You can also turn and look behind her and see if anything is coming up to spook her. If I were to stand like this, and something spooked the horse from behind, then there's a good chance that I could get jumped on.
Trying to go through a gateway crowded with horses is just plain foolish. This is especially so if the handler is trying to lead another horse through the group.
Get out of here.
Taking the shortcut under a horse could be dangerous if the animal should move suddenly or kick at a fly. Be cautious. Don't work on hands and knees around a horse. Fingers are not expendable. A horse that is prone to halter pulling presents many risks to a handler, both directly and indirectly. For instance, tying the horse to this unsecured wagon wheel may end with a Roman chariot-style race through parked cars and pedestrians. The handler would not be popular, and a good quality halter and shank would be more appropriate than the reins for all tying situations. And these common mistakes have proven to be unwise on many occasions. Don't put your fingers through a loop.
When we go to tie the horse up, we want to make sure that we have a good quality shank with a heavy snap and a decent halter that is not going to break should the horse decide to pull a little. We always tie to a solid object that cannot be easily removed by the horse, and we tie at a height that is up high enough that the horse can't get its feet over top of it. We don't want to tie the horse with a lot of length in the shank, because then the horse could get its head down and put its foot over the shank. When we go to tie it, we usually tie with what is called a quick release knot because of just that factor. It is easy and quick to undo, so if the horse should get in trouble, we can get it undone and out of trouble as quickly as possible. When we tie this knot, what we do is loop the rope like this, bring it around, and without putting our fingers through the loop, we pull in this fashion and then slide the knot up to the object. If we are going to leave the horse alone and go away for a time, we take the loose end of the shank and put it through that loop. Then the horse can't undo itself, but it loses its quick release action, because in order to undo the horse then, we have to take the loop back out of there before we pull on it to undo the horse.
Teaching a horse tricks may seem like a strange section to have in a film on horse safety, but some tricks are unsafe and just plain dumb. Like teaching a horse to chase you. He may when you least expect it. Or letting him search your pockets for food. If you're lucky, the pocket will rip before you're bitten, butted, or dragged away. And excusing a horse for just feeling good is inexcusable. Discipline him now. The problems that have been described in this segment on handling can all be countered by training the handler and training the horse. The first step is to select the right horse. It doesn't have to be the most beautiful animal in the world, as long as it's the right one for you. This means that the horse must be chosen for your level of expertise and not have any serious conformation or personality problems. Purchase the right equipment, not necessarily the most expensive, but chosen for quality, with an emphasis on safety.
When choosing a halter, select one that is constructed correctly with safe stitching and good quality hardware. Otherwise, if you choose a halter like this with cheaper hardware, your horse can easily break the halter or do more damage to itself or the equipment. Also, if you choose cheaper stitching, your horse will break the halter, and this type of snap usually does not last long.
Always wear boots designed for riding, and choose clothes that aren't baggy or have pieces that could catch on objects. And please consider wearing a helmet. For junior riders, this piece of equipment is essential. A strong chin strap and a solidly mounted harness, such as on the helmet on the right, are minimum requirements. Unsafe equipment doesn't have to be cheap tack. It can also be equipment that is unsuitable for a rider's skill or the job at hand. An example would be a long shank bit used by a heavy-handed rider. Trying to get away from the abusive pressure that may be applied by the bit on the right would cause a horse to rear over backwards. And forget all the gear carried by the cowboys in the Western movies. Take the minimum that you need for the conditions at hand. Safety equipment such as this catch on an English saddle is meant to be used. Leave the catch open so that the stirrups can slide out if you fall off and your foot gets caught. Western riders should be sure that the back cinch is hobbled to the front cinch. Otherwise, a bucking scene straight out of a rodeo could result if the horse feels the back cinch dangling in his flanks. The back cinch should also be done up tight enough to prevent branches or a hind foot kicking at a fly from becoming entangled in it. Those ladies or gentlemen who wear earrings should pay particular attention when working with horses. The best thing is to leave jewelry at home in the jewelry box. Loose scarves should probably stay at home as well. And most importantly, have yourself and your horse trained by a professional. Remember, half of all accidents involving horses happen on the ground. Be aware. Think about what you're doing. Don't be like this girl who could soon be just another statistic. Because if you don't survive the handling stage, then you won't be riding. Don't let this extensive list of high-risk situations make you think that horse ownership is inherently dangerous. It isn't. All of the scenarios that you've seen portrayed in this film can be eliminated by just one thing: common sense. And that can be developed by training for both horse and rider. Novices must begin with a well-trained horse and will improve under the instruction of an experienced trainer. Both horse and rider can develop, and you'll be better able to appreciate the pleasures of horse riding. And this training must emphasize being aware around horses at all times. Develop horse sense, learn from the mistakes of others, and enjoy the sport in safety.